Hi, everyone. Are you looking to get into podcasting just like me? Well, it's simple and easy with Anchor. It's completely free. There's creation tools built right in, allowing you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. And Anchor will distribute your podcast for you so it can be heard on multiple platforms like Spotify, Google Podcast, Apple Podcast, and many more. Plus, you can make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. So make sure you go and download the free Anchor app today or go to anchor.fm to get started. And now for the legal mumbo jumbo. This podcast is based entirely on Frank's own personal opinions and is in no way, shape, or form the opinions or representation of any fire, police, EMS organizations which he is currently or previously associated or affiliated with. The views expressed in this podcast are entirely his own and do not reflect the views of any aforementioned organization. Please note, the names may have been changed to protect the innocent, the stupid, and the brain dead. Greetings and salutations, everyone, from the beautiful Fuck If I Know Studios located in wonderful downtown Hamlin, Pennsylvania. It is yet another delightful, intellectual, and informative edition of Frank the Lunatic Rants. Hey there, hi there, ho there, everybody. I am your congenial host, Frank the Lunatic, with yet another edition of me pissing and moaning, bitching and complaining about everything and anything that I see out there in the world today. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for subscribing if you are a subscriber. And if you're not a subscriber, please subscribe to me. Trust me, you won't regret it. What do I have to rant about today? Well, of course, it's our wonderfully and delightfully intelligent and intellectual Mr. President Jumpin Joe Magoo, President of the United States, sitting in the White House. And of course, we cannot forget the wonderful, delightful, and very inspiring Vice President Camilla Harassment. What do I got to bitch about? Well, if you're anyone that follows the news at all and just follows everything that goes on with them, they think Trump was bad. I'll tell you what, these two, it's hysterical. Trump might have been a media circus, but at least he was a president in the media, and that was actually, talking to people, whether you liked his tweets or, things on Facebook or anything like that. He was at least interacting with the public, unlike these two jokers that we have in power right now, who don't interact at all. It's amazing out of any president that we've had in the past, the lack of interaction with the people. And they definitely have their freaking priorities, like just totally scrambled. Recently, just a story that just came out, might have been today actually, that Vice President harassment is, first of all, she's a chronic complainer, chronic complainer than a doer. She's been questioned why she hasn't visited or addressed the southern border, the whole crisis that's going on right now. And amazingly, but yet not surprisingly, really no answer, just dodges it. There's basically just a whole media blackout from the whole Biden administration in regards to the border crisis. First of all, the administration will not acknowledge whatsoever that there is any form of a crisis going on. They will not use the word crisis whatsoever regarding it. As far as I know, the administration is just playing on it that it is just a situation. So it's not a crisis, it's a situation. Even though we have now had more minors illegally enter our country in the 3 months that he has been president than you normally get in a whole year. There are statistical analysts out there. I've read a couple of things that have said that they are estimating anywhere from 80 to 100,000 illegal minors are expected to be in our country by the end of the year. That's 100,000. That's a city. That's a small town, a small city, basically. 100,000 of these children that we, the taxpayer, first of all, will be forced to take care of, because the money, after all, has to come from somewhere. So we're going to be putting these kids up. Now, some of them apparently do have relatives, and instead of using the resources to find their relative back in Mexico and make arrangements between our consulate and the Mexican consulate to send these children back to reunite them with their families after they made a big freaking stink about the Trump administration not reuniting kids with their families when they actually came with their parents illegally over the border. No one's saying a word. It's hush-hush about that we're not reuniting them with their families in Mexico. No, instead, we are spending our resources and time trying to locate relatives in the United States that we can ship these kids to. And children that we cannot find relatives for basically are going to go into the system. That's what's going to happen to them. And I guess they'd wind up going into foster care, something that me and you, of course, are paying for because the government pays foster families to take care of any children. And being that he's reenacting the whole Dreamers thing, these children that enter the country, of course, will wind up getting free health care, being able to be fast-tracked into becoming citizens, whether or not they even want to be here. Most of these kids, they were showing little clips here and there. It's hard to find them because we have such a media blackout and censorship in this country right now under this administration. Here and there, you can find little clips where they have interviewed some of these kids, and the kids have basically, they don't even know why they're here. Some of them don't know where they're at. They don't know why they're here, but we're going to try fast-tracking them to become citizens in a country that they don't even want to be in. Not only that, but under the whole Dreamers thing, of course, these kids will have the possibility of getting free education. So while me and you have to, bust our friggin' balls to get our kids through college, not them. Under the Dreamers thing, they'll be able to go to college for free, apparently. And nothing's really free in this country because basically me and you will be paying for it. And once again, this is the yam bag that you people, the Democrats, put into office because you couldn't stand how Trump was handling things. Trump puts up this wall, which granted, it's not completely effective because now they're using grappling hooks and that to actually scale the wall to dump their children on the other side of the wall. But at least we tried. He tried to do something. This administration just has a whole open border policy. I think it was 8 months ago. She was chosen as a running mate. She has yet to do a press conference herself at all. And I know usually vice presidents don't always do press conferences, but for example, former Vice President Pence did dozens of press conferences when he was put in charge of the coronavirus task force. And here she is put in charge of the border situation and has not come up with a plan. Nothing has been said to the American people. She has not had a press conference at all. And this is the woman that eventually may want to run for president of the United States. She's been tapped to fix a problem that she has absolutely no interest in solving whatsoever. Things that she has said in the past. When she was a senator, she literally compared ICE, who are they're federal workers designed to help protect our borders and deport these people that are breaking our law by coming into the country illegally, especially people that have criminal records, which of course the Democrats have wad for 4 years under Trump that, oh no, this is false. And then reports come out, studies come out showing how many people were deported because they have criminal records, because they left Mexico because they're wanted for felonies, or they didn't show up for court appearances, or things like that. And we deported all these people, and that's another one of the first things that President Magoo did. He got rid of that whole action of deporting these people who have felony records in other countries, who have fled their countries. Basically, he's saying that, oh, it's persecution. It ain't fucking persecution. These assholes committed crimes. They're rapists or wanted for drugs in Mexico or some other countries. And instead, we're fucking welcoming them in with open arms. But anyway, when she was a senator, vice president harassment basically compared ICE to the KKK. But yet, as a candidate, it was never brought up because she'd have to answer for that. This is why she's not going to do a press conference. Because in a press conference, she's going to have to explain why she thinks that illegal border crossings, which are going to be amounting to astronomical figures by the end of the year, are considered legal and just in her mind. She's just a chronic complainer about things. She's not a doer. She doesn't do shit. Typical freaking Democrat, doesn't do shit. If she had to answer questions why the facilities are filled up so much by the border with all these kids, she wouldn't have an answer. She'd have to tiptoe around it. That's why she will not do a press conference. PolitiFact says that they have no idea the exact positivity rate among these migrants in terms of COVID testing at all. Because again, our wonderful President Magoo and his administration that did this whole thing about transparency during the debates, during going out to try getting votes and everything. He wanted a transparent administration, but yet there are no reports out there. How many of these kids have been tested, or any of these people? What were the results? What's the percentage? But yet we are inundated on the news constantly, every single goddamn day, about how many people have tested positive that are American citizens, how many people have the virus, how many people have died, which, by the way, we don't say how many people have survived the virus. A hell of a lot more people have survived the goddamn virus and have died from it. We have no numbers. No numbers. How many of these kids have the virus? No freaking idea. Because the so-called transparent administration will not release any information regarding this. According to some of the stuff that I've been reading too, a lot of these people have been released into the general population as well because of overcrowding. We track down the families. Oh, here you go. Yeah, take this kid. Nothing. The quarantine, nothing at all. But yet they kept pledging an honest and transparent administration. And instead, they are acting more and more like it's North Korea in terms of media blackouts at the border, which would never, ever have been accepted under the Trump administration or the Bush administration. I don't even know if Obama, and I hated President Obimbo, I don't even know if Obama would have had media blackouts like that. And now she's in charge, this whole thing resolving this, not crisis, this issue, and hasn't done anything. And she won't go to the border. She has said that there's no need for it, even though she was put in charge of finding a resolution. Instead, she's doing, for example, going out to California to support a candidate that there's going to be some runoff election type of thing going on. Instead of going to the border, she was visiting businesses. She was kissing up, to businesses and these corporate people. Yeah, that's a great goddamn job you're doing, on trying to resolve the problem. Just let people come in. It's bad enough that the president of Mexico came right out and announced to the people that the United States is officially a migrant country for the next 4 years. President Magoo has said that he wants to spend money on not trying to keep these kids out, or any adults from sneaking in. He said, first of all, we welcome you. You're welcome to come in, but just don't do it now. So he's saying, come cross into the country illegally. Why the fuck wouldn't you say, go through proper channels, come to the border, go through a checkpoint, and say, hi, I'm here and I want to become an American citizen, or, I want to apply for a green card status so I can stay here. He's just saying it's okay to cross the border illegally, however, and that's where he wants to come up with more money. He wants to develop ways, to find ways to help these people cross the border illegally on their own so they don't get illegally smuggled in trucks and stuff like that across the actual checkpoint. I'm laughing at it. He wants to find ways for them to safely, illegally cross into the country. He wants to use our tax dollars to find ways for them to safely break our law. This guy is such a freaking clown. Mexico puts out pamphlets. They actually put pamphlets out that give you tips and information on ways to try safely illegally crossing into our country. I heard, I don't know if it's true, I had read something somewhere, that there's even maps, there's things that say where there's safe areas to illegally cross into the United States so that you don't get injured. This is what they're doing. It's amazing. And it's even more amazing that we don't have a problem with this. Our government has absolutely no problem with this. I wouldn't be a bit surprised if we start funding the pamphlets. I think that's why President Magoo wants funding to do something, to find safe ways for them to cross. I think he actually wants actual areas where there's going to be something that they can safely cross without going through checkpoints. It's preposterous. This whole administration is a goddamn joke. It really is, and things are only going to get worse. We have 1,381 more days of this freaking clown as president of the United States before hopefully somebody else becomes president, because God help us all if you fucking yambags out there actually reelect this idiot. Or even worse, elect Harris for vice president harassment to off. The country is doomed enough as it is. Transparency, my ass. There's just no transparency in this administration whatsoever. What do you call an administration that waited 64 days before the president had an official press conference in which I believe the questions were already like pre-done, pre-submitted, and it's ridiculous that this whole presidency is a sham. It is. And all these stupid people that are falling, all the bullshit and the lies. They say Trump lied. This clown is just lying left and right and left and right and left and right about everything, making false freaking promises. First of all, people, in regards to the virus and his whole thing on the virus, he could take all the credit in the world he wants. The vaccines got their funding and everything under the Trump administration. Yes, it was Biden's administration that was involved with the deployment of them, but it was Trump's administration that funded them, which is also a part failure because I'm sorry, but I don't think they were tested right because here we are, was it 2 months, whatever, after the Johnson one was released, and lo and behold, surprise, surprise, people are having reactions to them. Just like that one woman. It was almost like a hush-hush story. It didn't make major news, but there's the woman who got her vaccine, and was it 6 weeks later? Tested positive for the virus, showing that the vaccine doesn't fully work. You can't kill a virus. You don't kill it. All you can do is try making it dormant. It's going to be like the flu. Every year, we're going to have to get a freaking vaccine. The problem is, the virus will constantly mutate until the virus decides on its own to evolve into a dormant state. That's what's going to happen to this. There is going to be no normal afterward. I don't care what this administration says. We are never getting back to normal. We're not. We're always going to need masks because, first of all, you don't know who's vaccinated and who's not. I don't give a shit about those cards that you have to carry because you're not going to have the right to say, can I see your card and see if you're vaccinated? And this thing with travel, you're going to need to be vaccinated to travel on planes and cruises. Okay, so what about people for religious reasons who do not get vaccinated? Jehovah's Witnesses, there's certain religions that don't get vaccinated, or better yet, people who do get vaccinated, but they will not get this vaccine because it was how it was developed to do with stem cell research. I've heard of people that are ministers that won't get the vaccine because it goes against their teachings, which is so hysterical that there are so many Democrat Roman Catholics out there rushing to get the vaccine. When I'm sorry, but I was raised Roman Catholic. This vaccine and its development goes against all principles of the Roman Catholic faith. So it's amazing to see that they're getting the vaccine. And what's the government going to do? They're going to tell people, sorry, I understand for religious reasons you don't have vaccinated, but you can never travel again. Can you imagine that one? You can never travel again. What a crock. It's such a crock. Everything. The economy. They was talking about how the economy is getting better. The fucking economy is not getting better. The reason why it's showing that people are spending, that money is circulating around, is because things cost more. Gasoline costs more. Heating oil costs more. Everything's gone up in price. Groceries have cost more because transportation costs have gone up. And why have the costs gone up? Because President Magoo shut down the Keystone Pipeline. As soon as he did that, prices started going up. Then the announcements that they're taking away funding to subsidize, future oil drilling exploration. That's making prices go up as well. Instead, he wants to give it to companies to make solar and wind power things, which I laugh about because, we're going to create jobs with all this stuff. Yeah, and once all those products get made, guess what? You have layoffs after that because these things are designed to last a long time without any interaction from people. So that's going to be a failed thing right there as well. He's causing things to go up. There is inflation, but yet they won't say that there's inflation. There is inflation. Home prices have gone up ridiculously, meaning banks are making more money. You turn around and a house that was, $225,000 is now $275,000. And that improves the economy because you buy the house, money exchanged hands. This is why they're reporting that the economy is doing so well because the prices of things have gone up. It's a false state of security, basically, to get people feeling, oh yeah, everything's going to get better. It's not. It's not, people. Things are going up in price, and it's going to cost you more and more and more money. And everybody's saying how, minimum wage, this administration wants to make minimum wage $15 an hour. 15 is going to be the new 7, just so you know. Because prices over the next couple of years are going to go up so ridiculously that someone making $15 an hour is still going to be living by the same standard they were when they were making $7 or $8 an hour. That's what it's going to come down to. That's your reality. That's the transparency, not the bullshit they're shoveling out or covering up or just deciding not to even talk about. Where's the transparency in this administration. It is a sham of a presidency. It's basically, he's just the finger puppet for Vice President harassment and proposy, because she's always proposing things. Anyway, all I can hope and pray for is that you yambags out there, hashtag yambag, actually wake up and listen and see the damage that this clown is doing to this goddamn country, all the damage that he's doing, and maybe do something about it in 4 more years, or do something in the next round of elections and get some of these Democrat assholes out so they don't have all this freaking power. You realize that does nothing for our system of checks and balances. When you have one political party in charge of everything in the government, then there is no checks and balances. Then you have a government that can do whatever they want. And that's what it seems like we're heading to. Anyway, I am Frank the Lunatic, and I, of course, have approved this message. And that, my friends, for now is all I have to say about that.
Birthday card, birthday card, birthday card, birthday card, birthday card, I get birthday card. Birthdays are the best ever. Do you like birthdays? I like birthday cakes. Do you? And birthday.